If you decided that 2023 was going to be the year that you started creating content and then you started like looking shit up online or on TikTok or wherever you go to look for things these days, I think TikTok is probably the de facto place for most Gen Z folks, and you saw that the very first thing that you have to do is choose a niche. What do you want to talk about? The one topic. What's a problem you want to solve? What's the one type of person that you want to speak to? And you got stuck there because you were like, wow, that feels so limiting. How do I shove everything that I am into one box? How do I come up with a neat I help statement that fits in one tidy sentence? I'm here to tell you that is not the only way to go about posting on social media. I'm Justin Schumann, and I've built an entire personal brand on TikTok based on the fact that I believe that you are a complex, wonderful, flawed, fabulous, weird, amazing human that cannot and should not be shoved into a box just so you could be easily discovered by an algorithm. I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I said, I'm Justin Schumann. I've built a TikTok to 240,000 followers in less than a year just by being myself. No niche, I promise you. Go check it out if it hasn't been banned by this point. I don't think it's going to be banned. And if this is in the future and it has been banned, then never mind. And also, hi from the past. Anyway, you have alternatives. However, a disclaimer, if you are the person I'm about to say, you can stop watching because you're not going to have any interest in the rest of this video. If you only want to jump on social media to make money, to agitate the shit out of the pain points of your audience, to solve one kind of problem for one kind of person and show up and be known as a textbook for solving said problem, honestly, queen, niche down. Have a ball. Find your ideal audience member, create content that shows value and then says you have some product to sell it, and live your life. I'm not really talking to you because for me, my goals on social were share myself, learn who I am in the process, see who shows up when I reveal myself vulnerably and authentically, let my message be heard by people and let them decide if they want to follow, like come into my community. And honestly, that's what happened. So maybe those folks left. Or maybe they stayed because they're like, wait, if there's another way to do this? And I'm like, yes, there is. Here's the thing. Showing up on social is a scary thing, right? Because we're choosing to show up and share ourselves, a version of ourselves, ideally that we've always wanted to explore but never really had the room to do so, which also is why niching down feels appealing because you don't really have to bear much. You don't have to reveal. You don't have to be vulnerable because it's really just about showing the one side of you that can solve this problem, the expert side of you, the teacher side of you, the coach consultant side of you. I'm saying my way is actually a little harder. It's going to be uncomfortable. That discomfort is you growing. That discomfort is you putting yourself in a position that you've never been in before because that position you've never been in before is being yourself really, truthfully, in a way that feels public. But the thing is, you still will post specifically. Just because you're not niching down doesn't mean that your content won't be specific, but it will be specific because you are specific. There is no one else that is you. That is literally the only thing that you have over anyone else, right? There's a billion fucking people on this planet. There's a lot of people talking about brand strategy. I mean, no one's saying it like me. But again, no one's saying it like me. Like fucking Justin Schumann. I've been doing this for a few years now and yelling this from the top of the mountain, and it's starting to catch on now. But no one's been saying this message like I have, and I'm really proud of it. But I will tell you, when I first started, little story time. In the summer of 2021, maybe 2021, I think, I spent $8,000 on a business coaching program. It was a 3-month program, and what they told me again and again and again, and everyone else that paid $8,000 fucking dollars to be in this program, was you have to niche down. If you do not niche down, there is no way in hell you will ever monetize social media. It was a necessary, it was a mandatory, obligatory, that's what you're learning here, and that's what you're gonna do. When I tell you, I tried niche after niche after niche. I was a mom coach for a second, and then I was an on-camera coach for coaches, which feels now so meta and strange to me, until I realized that the reason it felt so gross to shove myself in a tiny little cubbyhole on social media is because I'd been hiding so much of myself in a box in real life, and I did not want to do that again. But I did for a while. I showed up on social media and I posted all of this content about showing up on camera, but none of this stuff, right? It was like very low-hanging fruit. It was just driving people to an offer, and it felt terrible. So I finally jumped on TikTok because people were like, you do great on this platform. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I did it at the end of 2021, and I like played around a little bit, and it didn't really go anywhere. And I had hired a mentor at that time just to like teach me the app. I felt like an absolute grandpa. And by the time January came around of 22, I said to her, I was like, look, this is not feeling good for me. What if I said like, fuck all the strategy and I just showed up like me? I just treated it kind of like I would treat my Instagram stories. And she was like, well, okay, I'm gonna see if it works. Spoiler alert, it worked. I started to share myself, my passions. I asked myself, what do I care about? What do I feel strongly about? And at the time, I was doing Tina the Tina Turner musical on Broadway, and I was also running my photography studio, which I started in 2015, and I was posting content in a very meaningful way, and all of a sudden, I was starting to get this attention, and people were asking to work with me. And so what I wanted to talk about was monetizing a hobby to 6 figures, because that's what I did with my photography business. How do you make money from your passion? How, as a multi-passionate creative, you don't have to accept the bare minimum. You can insist that you have value. I found myself talking about all these things that I care very deeply about, and the conversation kept unfolding and unfolding, and the conversation would lead me to other things I wanted to talk about. Being yourself. Maybe this idea that being yourself was this recreatable experience, ding, 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 which is where I started to go with all of this. And I realized, wait, maybe I can show up on TikTok and help people be themselves better. Again, remember, I was on Broadway at the time, and I was constantly on stage being characters, using colors of myself and amplifying them to tell these stories honestly. And I asked myself, what if I could help people do this for themselves? Get in touch with who they really are, get to know their colors, and then amplify them to do anything they want, achieve any goal. And that's what I'm doing here on YouTube, and I'm thrilled to be doing it here. I'm very excited to be on this platform, but I didn't niche down. Now, people from the outside might be like,
no, wait, you totally did. For a time, you were doing monetizing a passion. And for a time, you were doing, not defining yourself by a type.
The thing about a niche is, if you are truly niched down, you do not feel you have permission, because you really can't, to pivot or shift or expand in any other direction, because you are locked in, baby. Your audience knows and wants one thing from you. You set it up that way. You established the rules of the game. You said, I'm here to do this one thing. I'm going to do it again and again and again and again and again. You're going to know me for this one thing, and you're going to pay me for this one thing. So you might say at one point I was niched down to tell people there was no niche on social media, right? People love to come for me. They're like,
your niche is saying that there's no niches.
I'm like, Liv, you can call me whatever you want. I don't really care how you perceive me. I will tell you, I don't feel locked into one kind of content. If I wanted to talk about Broadway in the next video, if I wanted to post a video of me singing, if I wanted to talk about my plants. I got a lot of plants. I'll show you the plants one day. If I wanted to, I could name a million kinds of videos that I could have done if I wanted to, because I don't care. I didn't feel boxed in. And in fact, I let my content be the tool through which I discovered parts of me and also where I wanted it all to go. But I will tell you, the nicheless path, this idea that you are your niche, it takes longer, right? Because people still have to get a sense for who you are. So you need to show up consistently in a consistent way so people can get to know the climate of your being, right? It's not about that one content piece. It's about them seeing you 5 times, 10 times, 35 times. Posted over something like 1,400 TikToks at this point. But people know who I am. I'm not a niche. I just get to be Justin, which is the biggest gift ever. And like I said, I work with people on this every single day. But your content will be specific because you're specific. And then you have this freedom to explore, which also can feel really scary, right? And I will totally do some more videos on how do you find the content ideas and how do you turn an idea into a piece. I'm going to do all of them for you. We're starting the beginning. This is all a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. This is revealing for me. But the next time you hear someone say, if you want to jump on social media, you have to niche down, pause for a second, because there is another way. You could choose to not shove your beautiful humanity into a box to satisfy an algorithm, to make yourself more easily discoverable by your ideal client avatar. What if you showed up for you and you didn't care and you made the shit that you wanted to make and you said the things that you wanted to say in the way that you want to say them? And in that way, social media becomes this place not for posting your fake, but for sharing your real and using the content to even discover what that real is for you. REAL, but also like REEL on Facebook and Instagram. We'll talk about that too another time. I've got a lot to talk about, but I've been making a lot of YouTube videos. I hope you'll stick around with me. If you've gotten this far, you at least think I'm somewhat entertaining. God, I hope you think I'm somewhat entertaining. I just want you to know that there is someone out there who is telling you You can do this. You, actual you who's watching this, I feel like you've probably watched content before and they're like, wow, some people could just really do this. Yeah, you can do it too. It's the hardest thing to be yourself, and it's the simplest at the same time. It takes believing that you are worth taking up space. So much space that you could never be confined by a box. You don't need a shortcut to sharing your humanity on social because you're willing to do the hard work. You're willing to be uncomfortable because you also know what awaits for you at the end of that journey. Self-discovery, self-actualization, believing you are deserving of being yourself loudly. On social, yes, but out there. Because that's where shit changes. When you start to show up on here, when you start to practice being yourself, the version of yourself that you fucking want to be, not niched, not confined, not contained, not edited, not censored, your whole life starts to open up. And in another video, I will tell you all the things, the crazy things that happened to me in 2022 and 2023 just by being myself on social media. It is wild. From a TEDx talk to Dr. Phil. I'm serious. And it happened just because I was willing to be seen. Don't niche down. Please. We need you. All of you. All colors of you. I mean, set boundaries, right? We don't deserve 100% of you. But we need you. The specificity of you. The you that no one else can be. So, as a reminder, I'm Justin Schumann, the person who's telling you that you can do anything you fucking want, and you do not have to shove yourself in a box to get there. And I'm really glad that we found each other.